Hello and welcome to the Monthly Marquee. I'm your host, Bart Levins, Director for the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. And our first guest this month is also our Pack Kid Spotlight. Please welcome Lisa Muchmore. Lisa, thank you so much for spending the day with us.
Thank you.
So we've been riding around in Skaggs limousine.
Yes.
Is this your first limousine ride?
Yes, it's so cool.
So is it like totally prepared you for like prom?
Oh, yes. I definitely want a limo for prom now. Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And this month at the PAC, you are going to be representing North Hardin in 3 different productions. Is that right?
Yes, 3 different productions. This weekend is the drama club's performance of SVU Fairy Tale Unit. I think that's what it's called. It's very cute. It's very punny. And then after that is the winter choir concert, and then I think in that week, and then the next following weekend is Lion King.
Cool. And with snow days and everything, it's all kind of gotten jumbled. So
yes.
We encourage folks to check out the PAC.net website and look at the big calendar on the homepage to decipher when everything is going on. So that's a lot to have going on the same month.
Yes.
How do you juggle all of that?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm in choir 3 out of the 5 periods of the day. So a lot of it's divided into the school day. So you have, my first 2 periods are choir, and that's for preparation for the choir concert and all these. And then 5th period is the vocal technique class, which Lion King comes out of. It's that class, and we put on a performance with just that class.
And then when do you do drama?
After school.
That's an after-school
Yes.
program. So you've got how many classes of choir?
I have 3.
And then what else do you do during the day?
And then I have my standard math credit and then the English credit.
So let's talk about time management. Oof. Because that has to be a huge component of your life right now.
Yes.
So how do you especially think about if you were talking to a freshman or a middle school student who's getting ready to go into the choir program and the drama program at North Hardin, what could you share with them about time management and how to use your time well?
Okay, so my problem was I didn't join choir my freshman year. I joined my sophomore year. So a lot of times your first 2 years of high school, a lot of it is core classes. So first things comes first, you do your homework for your other classes. Choir is second, until you're an upperclassman and you're in more classes, but choir comes second to homework. You need to get your homework done and everything else for your other classes first, and then worry about choir next.
So what I hear you saying is the very first thing you have to do is prioritize.
Yes.
What is first priority? What is second priority? Not everything can be top priority.
Yes.
And what's fun is not necessarily always your top priority. You can't eat dessert first.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. And what else?
It's especially with after-school programs, because you can get so caught up in that. Like I was in marching band for the past 2 years. I was in color guard. So that takes up a lot of time. And I know there are plenty of other after-school programs that take a lot of time. So you just have to find time that you have, because I know with marching band, we didn't get as many breaks as they like you to think, but those 5-10 minute breaks, you can break out a book real quick and do at least something.
And I'm guessing things like video games, television, well, your generation doesn't even watch television, but you have to make some choices.
Yes.
As far as what you do with your free time.
Yes. Very, very many. I love video games as much as the next person. I love video games so much, and you have to, even though you want to play the new game that's out and you want to do these things, you have to be able to say, no, I can't do this right now, or be like, okay, let me study for 10, 20 minutes, and then get to play my game for another 10, 20 minutes, and just find a schedule that works for you.
Well, and you're talking about scheduling, and you used the word earlier today in one of the radio interviews, and I think we all have a tendency toward this, but you said the word procrastination.
Oh, yes.
How do you deal with procrastinating?
Oof, I'm #1 person for procrastinating. I could win an award. It's crazy. Especially being so busy with everything, it's a marvel how I get anything done. But a lot of times you just have to find motivation in things, and you have to be hard on yourself and say, I need to get this done so I don't stress about it in the future.
So it's not about mom or dad putting a thumb down, to keep you on track.
That helps.
That helps. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's because somebody can tell you, hey, do this, and you're probably going to be like, no, I don't want to, so you're not going to. But like,
what? Teenage rebellion?
Right,
No.
crazy concept. But like, yeah, a lot of it has to come from you and who you are and how you just manage things.
So you're working hard, you're doing all of these things, you're giving up time with friends to hang out and play video games. What's the reward?
It's creating things, especially with choir, because I'm a choreographer, so I make a lot of the dances. And being able to teach people it, and I love the choir, but sometimes, you get the 1-2 stragglers, but seeing them do it and seeing my creation come to life and seeing people enjoy it it's so rewarding. It's so much fun.
So this month, one of the things that you've been working on is choreography for award, the choral concert. So tell us about one of the pieces that you've worked on.
So this concert is like a musical theme. So each class period, first, second, and third, has these medleys that we do. So first period is Hamilton, and Elizabeth Krogan and I worked on the very last song, Yorktown. We did that one. And in second period, her and I both did all of the dances for second period.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what are you doing in Lion King?
Lion King? Okay. So there's choreographers and then there's like helpers with choreographers.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and Miss Root's very big on, she's like, it's too much right now. She'll give it to someone else who can do it too. So I didn't do a lot of the choreography for Lion King, but I did do the Stampede as well as as well as a couple friends of mine who are 2 helpers, and that's coming along very well.
And you're performing in all of these things too. Yeah.
I'm a chorus member, so I'm in everything but like 3 to 5 songs.
So one of the things you mentioned earlier today is that you don't consider yourself a soloist.
Yes.
You consider yourself a member of the choir.
Yes.
So that brings to mind teamwork to me. So what does that word mean to you?
Yes, it's very, very important, especially with this, because you always have the people who are really good at what they do. Like we have phenomenal solo people, solo artists who always get like solos and are always able to do these things because they're really good at it. And then you have other people like me where our strong suit isn't solo singing and our strong suit isn't a lot of solo things. So being able to be a part of that is a really big deal, and being able to support one another and create this community with this school is really cool.
Community, that's a great word to describe it. I couldn't agree more. Lisa, thank you so much for spending the morning with me and Skaggs Limousine and doing all the interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right now we're going to look at some footage of Lisa's performances in past productions of North Hardin High School, and please be sure to check her out this month, February, at the PAC in the North Hardin Choral Concert, their production of Lion King Jr. and SVU Fairy Tale Unit.
From the town, they dragged me from the pond. They broke my magic wand. They blew our condos down.
Our next guest is Miss Carmen Caldera Brasca, representing the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. Carmen, how are you, dear?
I am great. How are you?
Are you done with Snowmageddon, at least for the time being?
I love snow, so it is hard for me to say, yes, I'm done. But yeah, we're in rehearsals, so I guess I need to say I'm done.
Snow gets in the way.
It does.
So many things.
It does.
Because a lot of what we do is reflective of classwork and after-school projects and stuff. And so when there's snow and there's no school, there's no rehearsal. But the show date stays.
Exactly.
And you have to make up those lost rehearsals somehow.
Yes.
So it could get really hairy.
It can. And I have been in that situation where we have lost too many, and I have moved to show before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can only do so much.
So what have you been doing this January?
Well, we hit the ground running with some middle school students coming in for a week of theater training. And we did theater history and technical theater, and they got on stage and did some improv. And so as soon as we were done with that, we went into the elementary coming in for some theater experiences, 1st through 5th grade for them and 6th through 8th for the middle school. So We've had about 300 students
That was
come
my
in.
next
and
question, is
yes,
how many kids?
Yeah, it was over 300. And we've still got a group that missed because of the snow day that we will catch up later in February or, no, March. We're going to get them covered in March.
You have to kind of wait for the cycle to come back around.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And you've had auditions and you've started rehearsals for the high school production?
Yes, Elizabethtown High School is doing their first show in a number of years. Nobody can quite remember the last time they were able to do a show.
Well, I know that I saw their production of Our Town about the time I got hired, which is over 15 years ago.
Right.
And that was close to the end of the term that their director at that time, she was getting ready to retire shortly. That year or the year after, I can't remember.
Okay.
But that's the last one I recall.
Right, right. So now that we are doing Play On by Rick Abbott. It's hilarious. We've got a great cast, and we've started rehearsals, and so they're excited.
And
They're
how many
very
students are
excited.
involved in that?
Involved, I don't know yet because we don't have our tech crew,
Sure,
but right now we've got about 15 between cast and understudies because I have learned to have understudies because life happens.
Yes. People break ankles on
Yes.
the final dress rehearsals.
Yes, they do. They do. And it is flu season, and all kinds of things can happen. So learn my lesson.
So what is Play On about?
It is about a local community theater who agrees to do a local playwright's premiere of their play. First of all, because they don't have to pay royalties. That's kind of the main reason that they said, sure, we'll do your play.
Been there, done that.
And then she rewrites the play every couple of weeks. And so we are finally down to dress rehearsal, and she's changing it again. And so by the time the show opens, nothing goes right. It's hilarious.
We just got finished doing Sherlock Holmes over at our space.
Right.
And I hope that I don't micromanage, but I try to continue to give feedback to the actors once we've opened. Professionally, I'm used to the director opens the show and then they're gone, and then the stage manager maintains the quality of the show through stage manager
Right.
notes. But we don't have trained stage managers to take over that capacity, so I kind of fill in.
Right.
But because I also wrote this adaptation, once I saw it in front of an audience again, it's like, oh yeah, no, that monologue needs to be 3 sentences shorter.
Right.
And at a certain point, you just got to go, nope, it's frozen, it's locked.
Right.
This is the show.
Right.
And it's that tendency to continue to fix, to continue to, and at a certain point you have to give it over to the actors. And
Right.
that's hard on the artistic team, I think.
Yes. As a director, I give notes until the last show. And partially because I'm working with students, and
Exactly.
everything is a teaching moment. There is always something that can be learned and tweaked from the last performance. So at least I tell myself that's why I still give notes. Let's be honest. Directors are control freaks. That's kind of part of the job. But I tell myself that's why I do it. But it's also how I grew up. The directors that I grew up with, we had notes either after every show or the next day before the show.
Yeah, to keep things
To keep it fresh.
on pace.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I do that too.
So what do you have planned down the road for the Performing Arts Center for Elizabethtown?
Well, we have a lot of concerts coming up.
Oh, what?
We do. The high school is doing a jazz band for the first time in many years, and they are having a jazz band concert in March. Still waiting to solidify that date because,
Sure.
again, snow days
Exactly.
interrupt rehearsal times and
Yeah,
all
our
of that.
February calendar has changed 3 times in the last 4 days.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand perfectly.
Yeah, so I'm not giving out any dates today. I want to wait and see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks
Where
and
can
come
they
March.
go to find out dates?
Our Facebook page.
Of course, there we go.
Yes, always our Facebook page. But yes, we have the jazz band concert. We have our regular spring band and choir concerts coming up. The middle school will be doing a play in April to follow the high school play that's in March. And that's all I can really think of that's going on for now.
And how are your what's the word I'm looking for? Not your strategic plan, but not your, I guess, renovations is as good a word as
The
anything.
Renaissance, yes. The
Yes,
Renaissance
that's what I
project
was trying
we're
to
doing.
figure out.
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
yes. It is slow and steady.
Okay.
Yeah, the improvements are coming as we raise money.
And what exactly is the Renaissance project? For
Well-
those who may not be familiar.
Right. Well, the the auditorium at TK Stone became the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center 21 years ago, last month. And everything was renovated, and then that was kind of it.
Yep.
And technology changes, needs change, and 20 years is a lot of changes technologically.
Yeah.
So we need to update our lighting system. We do not have enough lights to light the entire stage that we have. It is a huge stage. When you add the fact that the stage from 21 years ago is still there, plus the new part of the stage that was added 21 years ago. It's a big stage. We have a lot of sound equipment that needs to be updated and bought, and those are really the big ones. We also have, smaller maintenance
Sure.
building kind of things, but primarily it is the lights and the sound and curtains. The curtains are
And curtains aren't
rough.
cheap.
No, that is financially about up there with the lights.
It really is.
It is insane how much
And
those curtains are.
We think about getting donations for things, and it's really nice to be able to put somebody's name on a building or on the theater or whatever, and that's really great.
Right.
It's harder to get people to get their name on the air conditioning HVAC unit, but
Yes.
those things are just as important.
Yes, it is.
How can people contribute to the Renaissance Project?
Well, they can either purchase a seat. We have seat plaques, so you can dedicate a seat to someone that's special to you, or a teacher, or even a whole class. Or you can just give any amount that feels right to you. And you can go to our Facebook page for more information and message us if you have questions on how to do that.
And how are you listed on Facebook?
Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center.
Very good. Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, please welcome Sarah Dakin, representing not only Central Hardin High School, but also Hardin County Playhouse, with a very special presentation this year. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thank
we
you
were
for
just saying,
having
we haven't had the chance to really visit in quite a while. We see each other, passing ships, going to
right.
different things and stuff. And in fact, I missed you yesterday when you guys were at the building.
Well, we
doing
weren't
your
there
build
long.
day.
We were just got in, efficiently got some stuff done, and got out to go to rehearsal.
So rehearsals for The Crucible.
Yes.
So I think The Crucible is sometimes a show that people go, I think I should know what that is, but I can't really remember. What is The Crucible? And
Sure, so-
why is it so important?
A lot of folks read it in high school. It's one of the staples around here, usually in the junior curriculum, but a lot of people, adults, think back and they're like, oh yeah, I remember reading that in high school. It was written by Arthur Miller in the 50s at the height of the Hollywood blacklists and the McCarthyism. And he went back into the transcripts from the Salem witch trials in the 17th century in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and looked at that and said, this reminds me a whole lot of what's going on now, with all that it takes is somebody to say, I don't know about this guy, and your whole life and career could be destroyed. And so he went back and looked at those transcripts, fictionalized some of it, so we have real people. Some of the relationships are made a little more dramatic for the stage. But we see what happens to this community when folks are able to start accusing each other of witchcraft, and in the name of protecting their community, tragic events unfold.
And it's one of those stories that I think it needs to be resurrected like every 5 or 10 years.
Sure.
Because you go, oh, nope, this is still relevant.
Well, and the number of times, you can't turn on the radio without hearing somebody call a situation where someone is being called out for wrongdoing and they're calling it a witch hunt. It's become that in our society of a way to defend yourself is, this is just a witch hunt.
And a shorthand to identify a situation. That's a witch hunt.
Yep.
This is a witch trial. And you go, I know exactly what that means. It is part of our vernacular, but without sometimes the references to totally make sense of what that truly means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because what we have when we look into history, and it's been so fun to work with the cast, and the first thing I told them was, this is history. Look into these people. These are real people that you're playing. But remember that what we have in the script is what some of the audience, all they're going to know. So, don't get too hung up on how old this person really was or where this person might have lived in relationship to this person, because the audience isn't going to know all that stuff. But knowing that they're real people that this happened to helps bring that home, that it's not just this catchphrase that we use in our vernacular, as you said.
Yeah. Now, this is a unique co-production.
Yes.
Can you talk about that for just a moment?
Absolutely. So it's a collaboration between Hardin County Playhouse and the Central Hardin Drama Club. I have been running the Central Hardin Drama Club for about 11 years.
Is that all?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, but we usually do 2 shows a year, so that's added up to
really
a lot of shows.
It's really 22 years.
Yeah, it's added up to, well, I've had 2 babies since then, so there are a couple years we didn't have 2 shows. But it's the second time I've directed for Hardin County Playhouse. And over the summer, I was talking to Claire Allen, who's the president of the board, and Carrie Lewis, who is the vice president, and some of the other folks on the HCP board. And I was like, I think I know, even before HCP had a home for this season, I was like, I think I know how we can have a show this year. And it's a show that, even though so many of our students read it, I haven't wanted to do it before with just students, because I always felt that dynamic between, because the main accusers in the witch trials are these young girls.
Okay.
And the dynamic between the power that they are able to amass versus these adults in their community trying to make sense of what's going on, what to believe and what not to believe. I felt like that dynamic really needed to happen between teenagers and adults. And so the collaboration gives us that perfect opportunity to do that. So within that, we also have the opportunity that students who might be new, who've only done a show or 2, are working with veteran performers who've been acting all their life, and they get that great experience. And then on the flip side, we also have a few folks who are adults who have never tried it before. But for instance, I have one adult in the ensemble whose son has done performances, and so she decided to come out and audition to surprise him. And luckily, he's a teenager who thought that was a great idea, and they get to do it together. And actually, I have another student and parent team involved in the show as well. So those relationships of getting able to work with folks in a different way than you normally get to is great too.
Well, and we've seen several instances where your principal, Tim Isaacs, has gotten to do plays with students from Central Hardin in various different productions. And I can only speak for myself, but some of my fondest memories of my father, who passed away 20-some years ago, are the chances that we got to perform together on stage.
Oh, cool.
And those are great memories to have, and to see that adult in a different light and to be in a learning environment with someone who you're used to having know all the answers is really, helping my dad memorize lines, which I was better at than he was. And just that dynamic change is just really great to cement those relationships.
Absolutely. We do have 2 teachers in the cast. There are 2, Kay-Mao and Mackenzie Hoyer-Hendren, who have helped me in various shows in the past, but they're actually on stage with us this time, so that's really exciting.
And go a little bit, I think the timing for this is perfect, given the situation that Hardin County Playhouse finds itself in. If you could talk about that for some of our viewers who may be confused between the PAC and the Playhouse and all of that, to just kind of go, this is where things are and this is why this is such a great thing to be able to do.
Absolutely. Hardin County Playhouse has been around in the community for almost 5 decades. A really important asset that we have here, but in the last year has lost its stage that it had been at for a number of years, and went through quite a lot of work trying to identify a new home. And the Playhouse was really fortunate to partner with ECTC, the Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, to work out a partnership going forward that we could perform in the Science Auditorium there. It gives us a great opportunity to connect with some of the college population who might be looking for a way to get involved. We do have a couple college students in the production. One who is an alum of mine, who is also a student there at the college now, and then a student who has done some things at HCP in the past and is now taking Katrina Eicher's class at ECTC. So hopefully some of those folks get a good experience and start bringing some of the others in, and we're really hoping for that. We had Mary Cooney's class visit us at a rehearsal, and a lot of those college students who are also active military, got to interact with a very interesting, diverse cast of students and adults about their experiences, and so we had a good time with that. We have students coming to the school day performance, most of them from Central Hardin. We have great support from our own school. Yeah. But we have a group coming from Hart County and Breckenridge County, I think, as well. So we have a lot of attention already for the production, folks wanting to come out and
Well, like
see
I said,
it.
it's part of the curriculum, so it's a perfect way to
Absolutely.
bring that to life.
And one of the other great opportunities that we have with the ECTC partnership is traditionally we do, with a Central Hardin performance, we do a school show, an evening show, and a matinee on the weekend, because I like them to get the different feel of the different time of day shows.
Yeah.
Like a night show feels different than a matinee. School show feels different than a public show, because the audience is going to get different things out of your performance. But what we're doing this time is 3 performances at the PAC like we normally do, but then the next weekend we're going to do 2 evening performances at ECTC. And for folks who maybe haven't seen that space, it's a very different kind of stage
And
than
it's,
the PAC.
I love that space. It's really, really fascinating.
It's smaller and it's a different shape.
Yeah.
So it's a great learning experience for people to see, oh, well, I did it this way on the other
Now adapt.
space. Now, oh, I can't stand there. We have to move things a little bit. And we're also, because the ECTC space, there are classes in there, there are performances in there, we can't rehearse in there all the time. We're fortunate to get to rehearse in there sometimes. But sometimes we're about once a week we're rehearsing at EC3, so we're fortunate to have that resource to us. We're using the No-Land Community Room, the Cooperative Meeting Center, I guess is the technical name of it. So we use that a couple times a month. So we're rehearsing in all these different places, transferring this is what the shape of this space should look like in those different places. And so that's a great learning experience too.
Oh. So we've whetted everybody's appetite. How can they learn more, find tickets, make reservations, all of that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So you can look at the Hardin County Playhouse website, which is just hardincountyplayhouse.com. I have a Facebook event out there that folks have been sharing. That's just CHHS Drama Club Presents The Crucible. So if you search for that, you should be able to find that. The public shows at the PAC are on March 8th at 7 p.m. and March 9th at 4 p.m. Those tickets are $5. We kept that the same because that's what our audience, our student and family audience is used to. At the ECTC performances, which are on the 15th and 16th of March at 7, those tickets are $10, which we decided was, still more modest than what HCP tickets normally are.
Sure.
But would also kind of help in the rebuilding efforts that HCP is in the midst of right now too.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much for being
All right.
with us.
Thanks for having me.